You're still trying to hide it, aren't you? Still trying to convince yourself that everything is okay, that you no longer feel what's tearing you up inside. You think no one notices, but the Holy Spirit, He sees, He knows, He feels. You can smile on the outside, you can even talk about faith, you can even repeat verses, but on the inside, it's chaos. Your emotions are a mess, the memories are still too vivid, the traumas are untreated, your heart, exhausted, and you know you're exhausted. You wake up with a weight that no one sees. You walk, you talk, you pretend. But inside, you're screaming. There's a scream that won't come out. There's a tear that won't fall. There's a pain that has no name. And it's not for lack of prayer. It's not for lack of Bible reading. It's not for lack of love for God. It's because there are things you still haven't surrendered, things you hide, things you still control, emotions that still dominate. You don't realize it, but you're being guided by your emotions and not by the Spirit. One word breaks you down. One look destroys you. One memory paralyzes you. And you try. You try to keep the faith. You try to believe. You try to pray. But it's as if something is pulling you back, as if there's an anchor attached to your soul, something that won't let go, something that won't let you go. Have you ever wondered why? Have you ever wondered why you still feel everything so intensely? Why you still explode? Why you still cry in secret? Why you still isolate yourself when everything gets tight? You think it's part of who you are. You think it's part of your personality, but it's not. That's not it. That's not how the Spirit acts. That's the soul. It's the soul screaming. It's the soul dominating. And you need to understand, you need to discern what is of the soul and what is of the Spirit. You were sealed, you were touched, you were called, but you still live as if you were alone, as if it were you against the world, as if God weren't there, right there, now. The Holy Spirit hasn't left you. He is there, He remains, but He doesn't invade. He waits, He calls, He touches, He whispers, and you still haven't surrendered. You talk about surrender, but you still control. You pray for healing, but you still hide the wounds. You cry out for peace, but you feed the thoughts that disturb you. You sing about freedom, but you carry prisons inside your chest. Emotional prisons, invisible cells, shackles of rejection, chains of fear, handcuffs of guilt. You blame yourself so much. Even when you try to be strong, you blame yourself for faltering. The Holy Spirit wants to touch you, wants to break through you, wants to dominate you, but He can only govern where there is surrender. He can only act where there is submission. And it's not about saying, I surrender. It's not about words. It's about letting go. It's about trusting to the point of letting it hurt, letting it come to the surface, letting it break. Because there are things that need to be broken. There are things that need to fall to the ground. There are walls that you built to protect yourself, but they also isolate you. You protect yourself so much that you no longer feel. You no longer hear. You no longer perceive. You need to stop. You need to stop running away. You need to stop pretending it doesn't hurt. You need to stop running to distractions. God won't do it in a way that you can control. He won't respect your emotional limits when what He wants is to heal you completely. He wants your truth, your mess, your darkness, your everything. Do you want transformation? Then you need to die. Die to what you feel, to what you think, to what you want to control. There is no shorter path. There is no easy solution. It's not psychology. It's not human advice. It's not a self-help method. It's the Holy Spirit, and only Him. You've tried everything, and you're still tired, still lost inside yourself. So why not try what you haven't done yet? Why not surrender, for real? Why not let the Holy Spirit touch where it hurts the most, where no one touches, where you yourself avoid? Do you think you can solve this alone? Do you think it will pass with time? It won't. Emotions don't heal with time. Emotions don't submit on their own. Emotions need to be crucified. You need to take them to the cross. You need to put them there, without reservations, without justifications, without excuses. Just put them there and let them go. Really let them go. Do you want stability? Then you need to stop being carried away by feelings, by impulses, by reactions. You need to stop letting a memory determine your day, letting a word determine your worth, letting an absence determine your faith. The Holy Spirit wants to lead you, but He can't share space with untamed emotions. You've been crying in the dark. You've been suffocating the pain. You've been saying you're okay. But His presence, when it arrives, it breaks you down. Because there, only there, you feel that someone understands, that someone sees, that someone really cares, that someone won't judge you for being tired, that someone will indeed restore, will redo, will rebuild, but not while you resist, not while you hold on. You need to let go of everything, even what you don't yet understand, even what you haven't yet overcome, even what you pretend you've forgotten. There are parts of you that haven't yet been reached by His presence because you haven't yet allowed it. You need to allow it. You need to open up. You need to throw it wide open. Salvation was just the beginning. Liberation has already happened. But there is a part of you that still needs to be treated. And you know it. You feel it. You try to hide it, but you feel it. And the Holy Spirit is here, waiting for you to admit that you can't do it alone anymore, that you need Him more than you need air. You were wounded, and you tried to be strong. You tried to show that you overcame it, but the wound still bleeds, still hurts, still throbs. You don't need to prove anything anymore. You don't need to carry this. You don't need to keep smiling when everything in you cries. The Holy Spirit wants to heal, but He doesn't heal what is not exposed. He doesn't heal what is disguised. He doesn't heal what is too protected. You need to allow Him to go deep, to go where not even you go anymore. You built barriers. You made internal agreements. You said to yourself, I will never feel this again. And you closed, you locked, you buried, but it's all there, alive, intense, latent. And the Holy Spirit wants to take all of that away, not to expose you, not to embarrass you, but to liberate you, to heal you, to restore you, for real. You were not created to live at the mercy of emotions. You were not called to live oscillating between faith and despair. You were set apart to be His dwelling place, His abode. But where He dwells, there can be no darkness. Where He dwells, there is light, there is healing, there is rest. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to trust. You just need to surrender. You just need to let Him touch. Let Him cleanse. Let Him remove each layer. Let Him unlock each door. Let Him reveal each pain. You will cry. You will tremble. You will feel. But you will live. For the first time, you will live. Because you haven't yet lived what He has prepared. Because there are parts of you that still live trapped in the past. There are feelings that still hold you back. There are voices that still echo. And you need to silence those voices. You need to make silence inside, to hear what the Holy Spirit wants to say. He is speaking. He is calling. He is insisting. You feel it. You feel it when He enters the environment, when everything changes, when the air feels heavy, when the tears fall without explanation. It's Him. It always was Him, and it still will be. But you need to decide. Are you going to keep pretending? Are you going to keep carrying everything alone? Are you going to keep trying to control what cannot be controlled? Or will you finally surrender? Surrender is not something beautiful. It's painful. It's real. It's raw. But that's where everything begins. That's where the pain ends, where the weariness ends, where the war ends. Because where the Holy Spirit governs, there is peace. There is order. There is direction. You've been seeking answers. You've been looking for relief. You've been crying out for healing. But the answers are not outside. They are inside. They are there. In the place where He wants to enter. In the place that you haven't yet opened. The Holy Spirit doesn't want part. He doesn't want pieces. He wants everything. Everything about you. Everything you feel. Everything you think. Everything you still fear. Everything you still don't understand. Don't delay any longer. Don't wait any longer. Don't argue any longer. Just surrender. Just allow. Just say, come. Just say, enter. Just say, do. And let Him do it. Because He knows. He always knew. He always saw. He always was. And He still is. Here. Now. At this moment. Waiting for you to stop fighting. waiting for you to stop resisting, waiting for you to say, Holy Spirit, I don't want to be guided by myself anymore. I want to be guided by you. Write in the comment, I will overcome, if you believe that God is in control of all things. You know there's something more. You always knew, from the beginning. From that first time you felt something different, something that didn't come from you, something that wasn't human. It was his subtle touch. It was the presence that invaded the place. It was the silence that spoke louder than 1,000 words. And since then, you've been searching. Sometimes consciously, sometimes not, but always searching. And the Holy Spirit? Always there. Watching you travel long and tiring roads, while he remains waiting for total surrender. How many times have you started? How many times have you said, now it's going to happen? How many promises have you made in secret? How many attempts have you accumulated and failed? Not because you were weak, not because you didn't pray enough, but because you tried with your own strength. You tried to use emotion as spiritual fuel. You tried to follow God with a restless soul. You tried to surrender without letting go of control. And that doesn't work. It never worked. It never will work. The Holy Spirit doesn't move by screams. He doesn't move by despair. He doesn't move by bargains. He moves by surrender, by submission, by obedience. And you know it. You know you need to let go. You know it's time. How long have you been carrying this weight? How long have you been avoiding certain topics in your prayers? How long have you felt blocked? You pretend you don't feel it anymore, but deep down, you know you're pushing broken emotions under a spiritual rug, and time doesn't heal what the Holy Spirit hasn't yet touched. You don't need to pretend anymore. You don't need to show yourself as invincible. The Holy Spirit isn't looking for perfection. He's looking for truth. Truth in the innermost being. You don't need to have everything resolved. You just need to be willing. Willing to open the space. Willing to yield. Willing to allow him to touch what you've spent your whole life trying to hide even from yourself because you were wounded. And that wound still dictates how you feel, how you relate, how you pray, how you believe. You ask for miracles, but deep down a voice still says, what if it doesn't happen? You declare victory, but you carry the fear of abandonment. You cry out for freedom, but you still cling to the past. The Holy Spirit wants to take you out of this cycle that spins and spins and spins, always returning to the same point, always the same thoughts, always the same blockages, always the same emptiness that appears in the silence. You think you're moving forward, and on the outside it even seems like it, but on the inside you're stuck, trapped in an emotional territory that hasn't been crucified. Trapped in the memories that you try to rationalize. You say, I forgave, but you still feel it. It still hurts. It still burns. Because forgiveness is only true when the Holy Spirit passes through there, cleans everything, uproots everything, and fills it with himself. You want peace, but you still negotiate with the soul. You still feed thoughts that steal your peace. You still cling to stories that should already be dead. You still hold on to voices that don't match the voice of the Spirit. And that holds you back. That weakens you. That divides you. You weren't born to live divided. You were created to be an indivisible dwelling place. Body, soul, spirit, all surrendered, all filled, all led. You feel the weight of spiritual incoherence because there's an internal conflict between what you believe and what you feel. But the Holy Spirit wants to align. He wants to balance. He wants to reorganize everything in there. You need to understand that feelings are volatile. Emotions lie. Emotions scream while the Spirit whispers. Emotions react. The Spirit guides. And that's what you need. Direction. But it won't come if you continue to move by your emotions. It won't come if you continue to oscillate between today I believe and tomorrow I don't know anymore. It won't come if you continue to sit in spiritual chairs with your heart still turned to the past. The Holy Spirit wants to align you. He wants to free you from this emotional roller coaster that makes you doubt what has already been delivered on the cross. Because yes, it has already been delivered. It has already been consummated. But it needs to be lived. It needs to be absorbed. It needs to be accepted. Not only with the mind, but with the heart, with the spirit, with the entire being. You need to stop looking at the pains as if they were part of you. They aren't. They don't define who you are. They are symptoms, open wounds, and the Spirit wants to heal, not just relieve. He wants to close the cycle, not just calm you for a moment, because momentary relief doesn't sustain faith. Only transformation sustains. Do you want to be spiritually stable? Then you need to kill the emotional cycle. You need to stop letting feelings guide your decisions. You need to discern. You need to silence the voices of the soul. You need to learn to be silent inside, to silence the invisible screams that prevent you from hearing the direction from above. You feel everything with great intensity, and that scares you. Sometimes it even paralyzes you. But the Holy Spirit isn't scared. He doesn't back down. He approaches. He enters the basements. He visits what has been forgotten. He breathes on what you judged dead. But he only acts where there is space. He only enters where there is permission. And now he is there, so close that you feel it. You feel that he is calling, that he is knocking, that he wants more. And you know you need to give more, that you need to stop delivering parts, that you need to stop dosing the surrender. It's all or nothing. Have you noticed that when you are in his presence, everything makes sense, but when you leave, you lose your axis? Have you noticed that there is a constant instability, a lack of firmness? That's not a lack of faith. It's a lack of spiritual dominion over emotions. It's the soul wanting to control what only the Spirit can sustain. You need to be whole. You can no longer be fragmented. You can no longer be a spiritual version on Sundays and another in the dawns of despair. The Spirit wants you complete, and he wants you today, not tomorrow, not later, not when everything gets better. Now. You think you need to solve it to then surrender. But it's the opposite. You need to surrender so that he can solve it. You need to let go so that he can enter. You need to stop trying to fix it alone. That never worked, and you've proven that 1,000 times. The Holy Spirit is here, and he's not interested in your performance. He's not impressed with what you look like. He wants what you hide. He wants what you suffocate. He wants what you protect so fiercely because you're afraid to relive it. But that's where he wants to touch. That's where he wants to restore, because there is where you need to be healed the most. You need to trust, and trust is built in his presence. You need to return to the secret place, return to simplicity, return to the altar, and not with requests, but with surrender, only silence, only a broken heart waiting for him to come. And he comes. He always comes, always. But you need to stay. You need to remain. You need to learn to wait without trying to control, without trying to understand everything, without looking for signs, because his presence doesn't need explanation. It just needs space, time, surrender. You won't find rest anywhere else. You've already tried. You've already searched. You've already chased voices, promises, experiences. But nothing fills you, because only he can. Only the Holy Spirit can touch where no one else can reach. Only he can make new what was broken. Only he can give meaning to what seemed lost. And you're so close. But you need to take the final step. You need to stop holding on to the edges of the torn veil. You need to enter. You can't just watch from afar anymore. You can't settle for crumbs of his presence. You were created to dwell, to remain, to overflow. Do you want to be filled? Then empty yourself. Do you want direction? Then stop running. Do you want healing? Then show the wound. Do you want peace? Then let go of control. The Holy Spirit doesn't negotiate territory. It's all or nothing, and you've lived too long with him being just a part. Now it's time for him to be everything. You know it. You know you need to stop resisting. You know you need to yield. You know it's time, so be silent. Let him speak. Let him touch. Let him cleanse. Just stay. Just allow. And he will do it, as only he can do it, as he always has, as he always wanted to do in you. Write in the comments, Holy Spirit, sing over me. If you desire to hear the melody of God's peace and love, you're still there, aren't you? Still reading, still with a heavy heart, still with burning eyes, holding on to something you don't even know if you can keep hiding. You feel something growing inside your chest. You don't know if it's pain or hope. And that's how it is when the Holy Spirit starts to touch what was locked away. It doesn't come with logic. It doesn't come with control. He comes with truth. Have you noticed how everything inside you tries to resist? It's as if something wants to run away now. Change the subject. Think about something else. Because that's the point. That's where it hurts. That's what the Holy Spirit is pointing to. Not with accusation, with love, with zeal, with that firmness that makes you tremble inside, not because he wants to scare you, but because he finally wants to set you free. You've kept so much inside. You've swallowed words, hidden tears, frozen feelings, and now all of that wants to come out. All of that screams inside your silence. But you're afraid. Afraid of what you'll feel, afraid of losing control, afraid of losing yourself, afraid of showing vulnerability, even before God. But why so much fear? Why so much resistance? Don't you trust? Do you still think you can continue this way, pushing through the days, surviving spiritually in pieces, waiting for a miracle that you might not even believe will come anymore? You pray, and then you question if you prayed correctly. You cry out, and then you doubt if you were heard. You want faith, but emotion drowns you. You seek peace, but you can't turn off your mind. You want to rest, but you still carry too much weight. And that's not living with the Spirit. That's living dividing your soul with Him, and He doesn't divide. Never has. Either you surrender, or you continue alone. Do you know what the Holy Spirit desires most? To have all of you. He doesn't just want to use you as a tool. He doesn't want to show you off. He doesn't want to push you onto a stage or into a role. He wants to dwell. He wants to be. He wants to live in you so completely that you don't even know what it's like to react without being in Him. But for that, you need to yield. And yielding hurts. Yielding isn't romantic. Yielding stirs up what's buried. And there's so much buried in there. Things you said you've already forgiven, but still hurt when someone mentions them. Things you decided to forget, but still control how you relate, how you react, how you trust. And the Holy Spirit wants to enter right there. You've tried so hard to protect yourself that you've ended up isolating yourself, even from Him. You've built walls, and He stayed outside, waiting, always waiting. Never forcing, never demanding, but always desiring. Desiring you, not the version you try to show, but you, the one who's here now, tired, exhausted, in silence, reading with tears in your eyes and a lump in your throat. That one, that's the one He wants. And He won't give up, because He knows who you are. He knows who you can be. He knows what He's already planted in you, and He knows what's still suffocated by uncontrolled emotions. Do you want healing? Do you want peace? Do you want a new beginning? Then accept going through the process, because there's no transformation without confrontation. There's no new life without death. And the soul needs to die, needs to be placed on the cross, needs to be silenced so that the Spirit governs. You think you're waiting for God to act, but in reality, He's waiting for you to decide, waiting for that moment when you say, even with a trembling voice, even with tears, "Do in me whatever you want," without conditions, without reservations, without limitations. Are you at that point yet? Because if you are, He will act. But it needs to be whole. It needs to be complete. You need to say yes with a torn heart, with broken pride, with the shattered past at the foot of the cross. Because that's where everything begins. That's where everything starts again. And you will feel pain. You will. You will feel that something is leaving, that something is dying. But you will also feel a lightness that you haven't felt in years. You will feel a peace that no rehearsed prayer has brought so far, because when the Holy Spirit governs, there is lightness, there is rest, there is real healing. You still live as a hostage of your emotions because you haven't allowed them to pass through the cross. You manage pains that should have been buried. You hold on to frustrations as if they were part of your identity, but they aren't. They never were. You are not what they did to you. You are not the abandonment you suffered. You are not the rejection you experienced. You are not the failure you lived. You are God's house. You are the target of His presence. You are the place where the Spirit wants to remain and not just visit. So stop. Stop running. Stop building religious routines to avoid the confrontation of surrender. Stop trying to replace surrender with effort. It doesn't work. It never has. And you're tired. Too tired to keep trying. You need something new. But that new thing won't come while you don't let the old die. While you insist on leading your life by what you feel, you will get lost, because emotions drag you. They knock you down. They confuse you. But the Spirit brings clarity, brings direction, brings firmness, brings the presence that sustains when everything crumbles. You need to stop looking for external solutions to internal problems. You need to stop seeking experiences when all you need is presence. You need to stop waiting for signs when the word has already been said. Surrender. You don't need to feel everything. You need to believe. Because believing sustains where feeling fails. Believing holds you when the ground seems to crumble. Believing keeps you standing when everything screams to give up. And the Holy Spirit? He continues there, firm, silent, intense, waiting for you to say, "Come in." But say it for real. Say it without protecting yourself. Say it without making escape plans. Say it and remain. Say it and face it. Say it and die, to live again. Do you want freedom? Then don't hide anymore. Don't lie to yourself anymore. Don't repress what needs to be healed anymore. The Holy Spirit isn't scared by your mess. He doesn't give up because of your cycles. He doesn't back down when you fail. He just wants to come in. He just wants to make everything new. But he won't do it if you're still trying to hold the reins. You weren't made to control. You were made to trust, to depend, to walk in faith. And that starts when you let go, when you release, when you say, even without understanding, "Do as you want." That's the most powerful prayer you can make. Not the most beautiful, but the most true. Because it's the one that unlocks the doors. It's the one that attracts glory. It's the one that breaks the emotional cycle and installs the government of the Spirit. You know you can't continue like this anymore. You know that something needs to change. You know that what you're doing isn't enough. And now is your chance. Now is the moment to be silent inside, to cease the excuses, to abandon control, and simply let him be everything. You feel it. You feel that you're at the end. But the end, with the Holy Spirit, is always the beginning. So let die what has to die, and see him resurrect what should never have been buried. See him lift you up, not as you were before, but as you never were, as you were always meant to be. Let go, release, and just allow. Because the Holy Spirit is here, and he won't stop. He will go to the end until you are completely his. Write in the comments, "Holy Spirit, bring hope," if you believe that he is the answer for what your heart expects. Are you listening? Do you feel it? Still there, with your heart pounding and something inside trembling? It's not empty emotion. It's not just the moment. It's the Holy Spirit. It's him trying to break through the defenses you've built with so much effort, trying to reach what you yourself have hidden. You don't need an emotional push. You need real surrender. You need to stop living with half your heart at the altar and the other half in fear, in control, in the expectations of others. Why so afraid to be all his? Why do you still want to keep parts? Why do you still hold reservations in the depths of your soul, as if you could preserve something untouched by God? That which you protect, that's what most prevents his presence from flowing as it should. That's what hinders growth. That's what makes you always return to the same places. You ask to advance, but you don't release the weight of what has passed. You ask to be filled, but you insist on carrying pains that the Holy Spirit has already asked you to surrender. You want to walk in faith, but you still move by feeling. You walk when you feel that God is near. You stop when you feel that he has moved away. But he doesn't move away. It's you who closes. You close when you fear. You close when you question. You close when you don't understand. You close when emotion says it's no longer worth it. The Holy Spirit doesn't act by emotion. He acts by surrender. He acts in silent obedience, in that surrender that no one sees, in that hidden decision in which you say, even without feeling, even without understanding, I stay, I remain, I trust. And that breaks chains, that moves heavens, that opens doors that years of effort haven't opened. You're tired of chasing the same peace, tired of starting and not finishing, tired of feeling close and soon after, distant, because you have been feeding on experiences, but not on presence. You have been seeking relief, but not transformation. You have been chasing answers when the answer is only one: surrender. You think you still need something more to be whole, when everything you need has already been given. Everything is already there. The Spirit is there. The Word is there. The promise is there. But what is hindering needs to come out, and that something is not external. It's in there. It's that voice that says it's not the moment yet. It's that resistance that makes you maintain control. It's that habit of rationalizing everything. You think too much, you calculate too much, you analyze too much, and you feel little. You feel for real when no one is watching, when the room darkens, when the day ends, when fatigue wins. And then, in the dark, everything comes back. Everything weighs, everything hurts, and you ask yourself, until when? Until when will you carry these memories? Until when will you pretend that everything is okay? Until when will you endure living a life divided between what is and what could be? The Holy Spirit doesn't want a piece of your time. He doesn't want beautiful moments of worship. He wants to dwell. He wants to be everything. He wants to overflow in you to the point that you no longer know where your pain ends and His glory begins. He wants to remake you from the inside out. But you need to stop. You need to silence the noise of your soul. You need to allow Him to touch what has never been touched. There are things you keep trying to forget, but forgetting is not healing. Forgetting is lulling the pain to sleep. And the Holy Spirit doesn't lull. He heals. He touches, cleanses, heals, closes, seals, and makes new. For real. Not superficial. Not disguised. New. You. But you need to stop fighting. You want to maintain control and be free at the same time. It doesn't work. Freedom requires abandonment. It requires saying, take it, even if it hurts, even if fear says you won't endure it, even if it seems like you will lose yourself. Because yes, you will lose something. You will lose control. You will lose the illusion. You will lose the weight of guilt. You will lose the need to pretend. You will lose what separated you from Him. You were not born to live under the tyranny of emotion. You were set apart to walk in spirit, and the Spirit doesn't oscillate. The Spirit doesn't give up. The Spirit doesn't deceive itself with sensations. The Spirit stands firm in the truth, and the truth is, the Holy Spirit wants you completely. No matter how much you have strayed, no matter how much you have failed, there is still time, there is still space, there is still grace. The cross remains open. The presence still calls. The Spirit still whispers. But time is passing, and you feel it. You feel that you can't live halfway anymore, that you can't maintain this inner division anymore, because that division is consuming you. It's killing your faith little by little. It's extinguishing your hope. It's weakening your conviction. You have thought about giving up. You have been silent inside. You have walked outside with a still heart. But something brought you here. Something, or rather, someone. The Spirit. He is the one who sustained you when no one saw. He is the one who spoke when everything inside you silenced. He is the one who stayed when everyone left. And He is the one who is here, waiting for you to decide. You can continue as you are. You can keep everything in the same place. You can raise the same walls, follow the same habits, return to the usual routine. But you will continue empty. You will continue fragmented. You will continue lost between what you feel and what you know. You will continue in this internal war that no one understands. Or, you can stop now. You can lay down your weapons. You can say in a weak but true voice, I don't want this weight anymore. I don't want to live divided anymore. Holy Spirit, take everything, everything. And when you say that, it will hurt. It will. But then comes the relief. Then comes the lightness. Then comes the touch you've been waiting for so long. The touch that heals without words, that answers without explanations, that fills without effort. You haven't been left behind. You haven't been forgotten. You haven't been rejected by God. It doesn't matter what they said. It doesn't matter what they did. It doesn't matter how many times you've fallen. The Spirit is still there. And He won't give up. He won't stop. He'll go all the way until there's nothing left of you and all of Him. But you have to want it. You have to want the touch that tears away the old. You have to desire His presence more than you desire emotional stability. You have to hunger for God more than you thirst for answers. And if you want it, if you're sincere, if you decide now, then let it happen. Let him come. Let him do it. Let him start all over again. But his way. You don't need to control anymore. You don't need to pretend anymore. You just need to yield. And when you yield, you'll see everything you tried to force will happen through presence. Because where the Holy Spirit is, the impossible ceases to be an obstacle. The past ceases to be a prison. And the heart finally rests. So now, stop. Be silent. Take a deep breath, and without saying much, just allow. He is there, and he will do it. Write in the comments, Holy Spirit, comfort my soul. If you believe he is your refuge in difficult times, don't try to understand what's happening now. Don't try. Because this moment wasn't made for human understanding. What's happening now is spiritual. It's something that logic can't reach. It's something that no explanation could define. The Holy Spirit is doing what only he knows how to do. He's going deep, very deep. He's opening spaces that were locked for so long that you forgot they existed. You feel it. You feel like something is falling apart, like the weight is coming loose, like a new breath is starting to enter the soul. It's not theater. It's not imagination. It's the Spirit. It's him. You know it. You know because for a second, everything went silent inside. You know because what was once confusion is now like a breeze, like a light touch. Almost imperceptible, but so strong, so intense, so true. You don't need more signs. He is there. He is now. He is at this very moment working in you. Everything you thought would take years to change, he can change in a breath. One breath of his can redo the entire route. One touch can heal decades of pain. One word can break cycles that destroyed your peace for so long. But he doesn't force. He doesn't invade. He waits. And now he waits for you to say what you've never said. Not with your mouth, but with your heart. He waits for you to strip yourself bare. Take off all the emotional armor. Take off the spiritual pride. Take off the need to know everything. Just stay. Just be. Just allow. You've been through a lot. You've held on too tight. You've fought with forces you didn't even have. But now it's time to let go. To drop the remains, to hand over the pieces, to stop trying to fix it alone. You're tired because you're trying to do what only the Holy Spirit can do. And he wants to, he desires to, he longs to. Not for your gifts, not for your performance, not for your spiritual appearance. He wants you, just you, as you are, where you are, now. This surrender has no audience, no applause, no human glory. It's secret, it's intimate. It's true, but it's where everything changes, where heaven touches earth, where the eternal invades time, where the Spirit enters and never leaves. You will feel your soul tremble. You will feel your emotion resist, because it always tried to dominate, but now it loses, it falls, it surrenders, because the Spirit has won. You still feel fear, you still feel doubt, you still have insecurities. But all that is fading, little by little, effortlessly, silently, like fog that dissolves in the warmth of presence. You don't need to run anymore. You don't need to prove anymore. You just need to remain. Stay where the presence is. Don't leave. Don't go back to what you were before. Don't go back to the old habits. Don't resume the usual paths. Because now you have something new, something true, something eternal, the Holy Spirit. And with him, everything changes, everything is organized, everything makes sense. Don't think it will be easy, because the old will scream. It will try to come back. It will try to take the place it lost. The soul will want to take control again. But now you know. Now you know. Now you have something stronger, something higher. You have the Spirit. When doubt comes, return to the presence. When fear comes, enter the secret place. When emotion wants to guide, listen to the voice. That voice. The voice you know now. The voice that doesn't shout, but sustains. The voice that doesn't demand, but transforms. The voice that doesn't accuse, but heals. The Holy Spirit will teach you to live again. He will teach you to walk, to breathe, to feel, to listen, to decide. He will redo everything. He will show you that it is possible to live without being guided by the past, without being a hostage to reactions, without falling into the traps of the soul. You will still get emotional. You will still feel. But now it will be different. Now, emotions will submit. Now, they will be a channel and not an obstacle. Now they don't dominate. They serve. They align. Because where the Spirit governs, everything finds its place. The transformation is not immediate, but it starts now. It starts with this true yes. It starts with this moment of total vulnerability. It starts with this silence full of glory. It starts with this peace that you can't explain. And every day, He will return. He will call. He will pull you closer, not to charge, but to fill, to maintain, to sustain. Because this life, the life in the Spirit, is not an isolated experience. It is a permanence. It is a construction. You will not be the same anymore. Even if you try, you won't be able to go back to what you were before, because the Spirit marked you, touched parts that no one reached, visited places that no one even knew existed. And you know that you can't live without it anymore. You may even try to run away. You may try to close yourself off again, but He will still be there, whispering, waiting, calling, because He loves. And His love is different. His love remains. His love heals. His love remakes. Now heaven is looking at you, but not with demand, with expectation. Expectation to see what will be built from now on. Expectation to see what you will become when you are full, when you are guided, when you are totally governed by the Spirit. And you can choose. Choose to live each day with this hunger. Choose not to feed the wounded soul anymore. Choose not to listen to the voices that paralyzed you. Choose not to negotiate your faith for fleeting emotions. You will stumble. You will fail. You will cry again. But now you will know where to return. You will know who is waiting for you in the dark room. You will know that there is someone greater than all this, the Spirit who dwells, who loves, who sustains. And when everything seems lost, close your eyes. Remember this moment. Remember this touch. Remember this peace. And say, Holy Spirit, take me again. Envelop me again. Govern me. Don't let me leave the place where your presence found me. This simple prayer will be your anchor. It will be your strength. It will be your home. You are not alone. You never were. You are not weak. You are the target of the most powerful love that exists. You are not forgotten. You are a dwelling. You are chosen. You are a temple. And the Holy Spirit lives there. So, just stay. Stay in the presence. Stay in the place where the soul is silent. Stay in the place where glory enters. Stay in the place where the heart stops running. And you finally live. The Spirit is doing it. Even if you don't see everything now, even if you don't understand yet, even if you still cry, He is doing it. He is there, and He won't stop. He will never stop until you are completely His. Share this blessed video so that it can touch and help other people like you and me. Want to delve even deeper into faith and prayer? Download our exclusive ebook on how to strengthen your spirituality today. The link is in the comments below. Don't forget to click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for being part of our faith community. If you would like to support our channel a little more, consider becoming a member of our channel. I leave here 2 more videos so that you can continue your spiritual search and growth in faith. Thank you, and may God bless everyone. See you later.